Okay, so we're here building the BMF saw. Man, maybe we should change the name. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. We have changed the plans a little bit. This is going to be actually 12 feet long. It used to be a 10 by 10. Now it's going to be a 10 by 12. So this is going to be the saw that we're going to have rails on, and almost like a panel saw, but this one's going to lay flat. The saw is going to be about 34 inches off the ground, 32, right, Danny? 32. And we're going to put another, what do you call it, deck, another deck, and that's where we're going to keep our drywall underneath, right? Now since it's this big, not our drywall, plywood. Damn, help me out here. So anyway, this thing is going to cut our plywood, and it's also going to store our plywood. So we're going to keep the 3/4 inch plywood on the left, underneath, and we're going to keep the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch on the right. Obviously, we use 3/4 more than anything else, so we're going to have more of that. Okay? All right, Daniel? Right. When we are not using this saw to saw, it's going to be a work table.
Correct, yeah.
Correct, Daniel?
Yes, and so it's going to act very much like a outfeed table, like you would on a regular table saw. However, the table saw is on top instead of coming from the bottom. So yeah, like I said, when we're not using it, we're going to have basically a big 9 by.
And the big difference is on the table saw, you have to push the work.
Correct, you're pushing the material through the saw.
Whereas we're just going to push the saw.
Correct. So
which
I feel like it's a little bit safer, especially when it's one person trying to push a big 4x8 sheet of 3/4 inch ply. It's not easy, and I'm sure other woodworkers out there will understand that. So this is going to really do a lot for us as far as efficiency, safety, ease of getting that material cut. And then, like we said, when we're not using it, we're going to have basically a big 9 by 10 just workbench, so we can continue all of our building and things like that.
And again, also plywood storage.
Correct, which is going to be super awesome.
Because right now we keep it up against the wall.
Yeah, everything kind of leans up against the wall, or it's just kind of laying flat where we got space. This is not a small space, but we want to utilize the space the best that we can. So keeping everything in here will definitely allow us some more space around the shop. So.
Yeah, and the saw we have right here. I'll show you. So this is the saw that we're going to use. This is a skill saw, worm drive. And this is the saw that we're going to push across, right?
Correct.
We have a, what is this? A dust collection system. So we're going to hook up our hose right here, and as it's running, it's going to collect all the dust, and we shouldn't have any mess. And again, at some point, once we get it working like we want, we're going to be able to automate the whole thing, and we're going to be able to make perfect cuts at the same speed, so we shouldn't get any, what do they call it, the blade burn?
Blade burn, kickback, or...
Well, yeah, I'm talking about, you know how when you're pushing the plywood.
Correct, yeah. So
on the table saw, you push it and you have to stop, and then it gets a blade burn.
Correct, yeah. So
with this, because you're never going to stop, it's going to get you a better cut. It's going to be awesome, man. I'm telling you.
It's exciting.
So, this is what we're doing. We're going to weld it all, and Daniel already cut all the pieces. I drew the plans, Daniel cut it, now I'm going to weld it. Because he's a woodworker, he doesn't know how to. His man card hasn't been punched for welding. Alright, let's do this, Daniel.
Alright, here's speed square.
So we're going to use our Miller MIG welder. This is a 251, oldie but goodie. Some of you know that, but I was a welder before. You know, I used to build metal buildings and all the good stuff. So that's what we're going to do today. The other thing that we're doing is, these are the legs, okay? And we're going to put a plate on the bottom. On that plate, we will put a bolt, okay? And that bolt will serve as a jacking bolt to make sure, that our table is perfectly level. We'll be able to adjust it all. So yeah, we have planned it all. All right, Daniel, let's get to work. These are TIG gloves. You got the good stuff. Daniel doesn't know about welding, so he brought out my TIG welding gloves. Oh well.
Move the other ones?
No, it's all right. Let me guess, you didn't bring the other ones because they were dirty, right?
I didn't know which ones to grab.
Exactly. So you grabbed the better ones. And I can see somebody already used these for handling dirty material. So I guess they were no longer TIG welding gloves anyway. So, come on, Daddy. Let's start on this corner. Half of my y-axis right there. That's the center. So now I'm going to bring it to 0, and that's going to be center. Right there. Right there. We're going to get half of the x-axis. So now we can go to 0 on both of them. All right, so this is how we're going to make the jacking bolts. This is going to be the plate that we're going to weld to the bottom of the legs, and the bolt's going to stick out like this. We have a locking nut with a, what is this, plastic? Just going to call it plastic.
Nylon.
Nylon, yeah, there you go. Nylon. So the reason we're going to use those is so that whenever you set it, vibration won't let it come loose. And you know, change the level. So it's really simple. We're gonna go do them over there close to the welder. So we're gonna put them in here like this, weld the nut, not all the way obviously, because then we're gonna melt the polymer. So we're just gonna put a small tack on each side, and that's all we're gonna do. All right, so we got our table finished. Now we need to work on the rails. All the parts already showed up, so that's gonna be the next step. Man, the more we work on this thing, the more we realize how useful it's going to be. So we're gonna put the rails at 3 feet, and it was gonna leave us 9 feet to work when we were not using the table. However, now Daniel and I discussed putting the table saw on this side. So that's going to add another 2 feet or so to it. So the table saw itself would become the outfeed table for the BMF saw. We need to have a better name for it. But anyway, so the table saw will be the outfeed table for the BMF saw. and then the BMF saw will be the outfeed table for the table saw. So that's gonna give us even more room, which means we're going to be able to eliminate this outfeed table. We don't know if we're going to eliminate it yet, but it gives us the option to get rid of it if we want to. And then at that point, we can use that for, you know, cutting sheets, outfeed table for the table saw, outfeed table for the router, and a workbench. So very useful. We're gonna, when we're done with it, again, we still have to put another more tubing on the bottom so we can stack the plywood. That's all gonna be under there. And then eventually we're going to move it up against this wall. Well, we're gonna give it about 3 feet so we can get all the way around it. And of course, we'll be able to get our power from this wall. We'll go overhead for that saw so it can go back and forth. And then of course we'll drop down for the table saw, the router, and the dust collection system. The dust collection, we'll probably put it on this side under the table. Never mind, I don't know if we can fit it. The point is, all this is coming over here. So we're still gonna have all that over there to work and back. So this is part 1 of the BMF saw build. I guess that's what it's called. All right, so help me out, Daniel. Okay, maybe you guys can help us out with a name, because BMF is, I mean, it is what it is, but we can't say it out loud. We just got done working, drinking some crazy water. Not a sponsor. But yeah, it is Friday evening, 17:01. Oh man, Daniel, we better get out of here. Anyway, we'll see you next time. We are Texas Barndominiums.